Hey, Steelers Nation. We're back with an exclusive video packed with the latest updates on our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. This way, you'll never miss any exclusive updates or exciting Steelers news. The whispers around the league started as nothing more than a faint echo, a soft buzz drifting through front offices and locker rooms before exploding into the massive storm we see today. According to insiders who swear they're closer to the situation than anyone else, Aaron Rodgers didn't just accept the idea of joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. He embraced it with a fire that surprised even the people who claim to know him best. In these backstage conversations, the kind of talks that usually stay behind closed doors, Rodgers supposedly dropped a quote that sent shockwaves everywhere. "I always wanted to play for the Steelers." And the way he said it, according to those who were in the room, wasn't some polite throwaway line. It had weight. It had nostalgia. It had conviction. What's wild is how fast this energy spread, from players exchanging looks to coaches whispering behind clipboards, to fans dissecting every syllable like it was some coded prophecy. The narrative growing around this moment feels bigger than football. It feels like a quarterback rewriting his own mythology, choosing not just a team, but a legacy he claims he's been eyeing since before the spotlight ever found him. People around the facility swear they felt the shift instantly, like the atmosphere in Pittsburgh suddenly thickened with possibility. They talk about Rodgers stepping into the building with this unusual mix of calm veteran energy and childlike excitement, the kind that comes from finally checking something off a lifelong wish list. Rumor has it he walked through the halls absorbing every detail, the black and gold accents, the historical photographs, the echoes of championships past, as if reconnecting with a place he'd only ever visited in dreams. One person claimed he paused in front of a legendary team portrait, smiled, and whispered something under his breath that caught everyone's curiosity. Nobody could make out the words, but the body language said plenty. According to sources floating around the locker room, Rodgers wasn't just arriving. He was returning to something he believed was part of him all along. Whether that's nostalgia talking or a quarterback rewriting his own narrative is still up for debate. But one thing is certain. The vibe became electric the second he expressed that raw honesty about always wanting to be part of the Steelers family. What's fueling the chatter even more is the way teammates reacted behind the scenes. They weren't indifferent. They weren't cautious. They were intrigued. Players who usually carry themselves with quiet professionalism suddenly found themselves watching Rodgers like he was the missing piece to a puzzle they'd been trying to solve for years. Some insiders claim a few veterans pulled him aside almost immediately, not for formal introductions, but for real conversations about vision, chemistry, and what it means to wear the black and gold with purpose. They say Rodgers engaged with everyone, from rising stars to seasoned leaders, as if he'd been part of the locker room all along. The conversations were reportedly deep, layered, and full of energy that doesn't happen unless everyone involved genuinely believes something special might be forming. It wasn't a simple onboarding moment. It felt like the beginning of a collaboration that people inside the building had quietly hoped for, but never expected would actually happen. These rumors continue to swirl, leaving fans and analysts wondering just how long this desire to join the Steelers had been sitting inside Rodgers, waiting for the perfect moment to emerge. People close to him insist this wasn't some last-minute whim or spontaneous comment. They claim it's something he's carried for years, tucked away behind his more public persona. Apparently, whenever the subject of dream teams or alternate paths came up in private conversations, the Steelers were always present in his thoughts. Some say it goes back to his early days studying film, analyzing quarterbacks who embodied toughness and precision, and imagining how he'd look in that iconic uniform. Others believe it's rooted in his admiration for the franchise's consistency, the stability, the culture that rarely bends for trends or outside pressure. This narrative, if true, paints Rodgers not as a player chasing a new chapter for shock value, but as someone stepping into a role he's been preparing for longer than anyone realized. It adds an emotional layer to the rumor, the idea that this move was less about opportunity and more about destiny. Whether or not that's fairy tale thinking or strategic storytelling remains to be seen, but it's the kind of storyline that captures imaginations and fuels endless discussion in every corner of the football world. In the training areas, whispers grew even louder as people noticed Rodgers carrying himself with a confidence that almost felt like he'd been there for seasons already. Observers described moments where he'd pick up a football, glance across the field, and release with a level of ease that made onlookers exchange silent nods. Not because they were surprised by his talent. Everyone knows what Aaron Charles Rodgers brings to the table, but because it looked like he belonged there. There's a rumor that he made a comment during one of these casual sessions, something along the lines of feeling like he was finally in the place he was meant to be. Nobody has the exact quote, of course, but that's how rumors work. They swirl, they grow, and they take on a life of their own. And each version emphasizes one consistent theme. Rodgers wasn't just adapting to the Steelers' environment, he was aligning with it. The chemistry was natural, almost uncanny, and it's that organic fit that keeps people talking, speculating, and imagining what his presence could potentially unlock for the franchise. The tension between what's confirmed and what's whispered is exactly what fuels the current buzz. On one side, you have Rodgers himself openly admitting he always wanted to play for the Steelers, a statement that, even without specifics, carries massive weight. On the other side, you have the behind-the-scenes rumors that paint a picture of a quarterback stepping into a long-awaited homecoming. Every hallway conversation, every anonymous tip, every subtle reaction from teammates adds another layer to this intriguing storyline. And the best part? Nobody really knows where truth ends and speculation begins. That's what makes this rumor feel alive. It's constantly evolving, picking up details, emotions, and interpretations along the way. What fans cling to isn't just the possibility of Rodgers transforming the Steelers' offense. It's the emotional gravity of a superstar choosing not just a team, but a dream he claims has been simmering beneath the surface for years. In a league where narratives shift fast and loyalties get questioned at every turn, this particular story feels refreshingly heartfelt, almost mythical in the way it's unfolding. Behind the scenes, coaches are reportedly thrilled by the energy shift Rodgers has sparked inside the facility. Sources say they've been exchanging quiet glances, the kind that reveal excitement even when words don't. Some insiders claim that discussions and strategy meetings have taken on a new tone, not cautious but bold. They're supposedly exploring concepts they hadn't considered in years, inspired by Rodgers' unique skill set and his veteran vision. Even though nothing official has been laid out publicly, the internal conversations reportedly feel like a creative explosion, the kind that happens when a team suddenly believes it can attempt things previously thought too risky or unrealistic. Rodgers' presence alone seems to have injected a sense of freedom, a willingness to experiment, as if the franchise suddenly expanded its own identity. And the rumor that keeps floating around is that Rodgers told the staff he wasn't coming just to fit in. He was coming to build something he claims he had envisioned long before stepping into the building. Whether or not that's entirely accurate, it's the kind of detail that fuels late-night discussions and makes fans wonder just how committed he truly is to this new chapter. Among fans, the reaction has become its own phenomenon. Social media feeds are overflowing with speculation, excitement, and a bit of confusion as supporters try to piece together the real story. Many are convinced that Rodgers' declaration about always wanting to play for the Steelers signals something deeper than just a professional decision. They believe it represents a personal longing, a connection he may have felt to the franchise's grit, tradition, and identity. Some fans have even revisited old interviews, searching for subtle clues that he admired the Steelers more than he ever let on publicly. Others are spinning theories about long-standing relationships with players, coaches, or even friends tied to the Pittsburgh community. The most popular rumors suggest that Rodgers has had a quiet admiration for the team's history since early in his career, and that joining the Steelers isn't just a move, it's the fulfillment of an inner narrative he rarely discussed. Whether these theories hold any truth or are simply fan-fueled passion, they've ignited a level of engagement rarely seen, turning every post, every quote, every gesture into a puzzle piece fans can't stop analyzing. What's even more fascinating is the ripple effect reaching former players who spent years shaping the Steelers' identity. Some of them, according to anonymous sources, reached out privately to express their support. These aren't messages of caution or advice. They're more like small welcome letters, if the rumors are accurate. They allegedly told RODGERS that the franchise is built on loyalty, grit, and a kind of toughness you don't understand until you're living inside the culture every day. And insiders claim RODGERS responded warmly, even gratefully, as if these conversations validated something he already believed. The rumor mill reports that he listened intently, not out of obligation, but out of genuine respect for the men who laid the foundation. If those interactions happen the way people describe, it only deepens the sense that RODGERS isn't just joining a team. He's entering a brotherhood he admired from afar. And that kind of emotional connection, even if only partly true, adds another layer to the growing myth around his decision and the quiet enthusiasm circulating inside the organization. Meanwhile, the offensive squad has reportedly been buzzing with a renewed sense of ambition. Players from every position group supposedly described RODGERS' early presence as transformative, sparking conversations that have been dormant for years. Some rumors say wide receivers have been staying late, not because they were asked to, but because they want to build chemistry with him as quickly as possible. Others claim the offensive line has taken on a new level of intensity during their walk throughs, as if they're preparing to protect something or someone incredibly valuable. Running backs are rumored to be studying film with him, exploring plays that capitalize on his precision and timing. And through it all, RODGERS is said to carry himself not like a superstar demanding adjustments, but like a teammate willing to adapt, listen, and collaborate. These stories paint a picture of a unit forming bonds faster than expected, driven by the idea that something special is quietly taking shape behind closed doors. Whether all of this is perfectly accurate doesn't even matter. What matters is the electricity these whispers have created among fans who can't get enough of the unfolding narrative. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. As for RODGERS himself, insiders describe him as calm, focused, and strangely energized, a combination that's fueling even more speculation. They say he moves around the facility with purpose, greeting staff, cracking jokes, having deeper conversations with younger players, and absorbing every detail of the environment. There's a rumor that he mentioned feeling a kind of alignment he hasn't experienced in years, a sense that this chapter might be more personal than professional. Some believe he's motivated by the challenge, others think he's drawn to the culture, and a few speculate that he simply needed a fresh atmosphere that still carries the weight of history. No matter which theory you choose to believe, the whispers all suggest the same thing. RODGERS feels at home. And that sense of belonging, real or rumored, is what's causing fans and analysts to look at the situation with more fascination than skepticism. It's rare to see a player of his stature portrayed as someone rediscovering passion, but that's exactly the storyline taking shape through countless conversations happening off the record. The more these stories circulate, the more it feels like we're watching the early stages of something that could grow into one of the most talked about chapters of RODGERS' career. Even though none of the specifics have been confirmed publicly, the collective energy coming from coaches, teammates, and fans suggests a shared excitement that's hard to ignore. People are drawn to this rumor not because of stats or strategy, but because of its emotional undertones. A superstar claiming he always dreamed of becoming part of the Steelers, stepping into a role he says he wanted long before anyone knew it was possible. It's a narrative loaded with nostalgia, ambition, and the allure of unfinished business. And as the whispers continue to evolve, one thing remains clear. This story isn't just about football. It's about identity, destiny, and a quarterback who believes he has finally arrived where he was meant to be all along. Behind closed doors, the defensive players have reportedly felt the ripple effect just as strongly, even though RODGERS isn't directly involved in their schemes. Rumors suggest that several veterans on the defensive side have been talking about an unusual spark spreading through the team, a kind of shared motivation fueled by the idea of matching the intensity and precision Rodgers brings to the offense. Some insiders say defensive leaders have openly admitted that having a quarterback of his caliber elevates the standard for everyone, pushing them to sharpen their communication, discipline, and overall mindset. There's even talk that a few young defenders approach Rodgers during downtime, asking him how elite quarterbacks read defenses so they can adjust their techniques accordingly. According to whispers, he welcomed those conversations with surprising openness, offering insights without hesitation. Whether these interactions happened exactly as claimed, they've become part of the expanding mythology surrounding his arrival. The idea that Rodgers isn't just lifting one side of the team, but inspiring a complete resurgence across the entire roster. The rumor mill keeps feeding on this energy, creating a narrative that the Steelers' identity might be evolving into something even more unified than before. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.